they're not, because you see there might be sabotages, but then INEC has to show that their hands are clean. They're coming to equity with clean hands because they're the umpire. If we cannot trust the umpire, how can we trust the process?
How can we trust the game?
Exactly.
Telephone lines, Lagos. This is not ending today. Tomorrow, I think throughout the whole week. Well, we're talking about elections, really, the whole entire week.
Yeah.
Probably into March because we hear Imo State has their elections.
Yes, absolutely, and a few other, places.
Justin, good morning.
Good morning. And there's a Miriam in the studio.
Yeah, Mother, welcome. You have Mr. Mba, call from Elaso.
Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, Joyce.
Yeah.
There is something I noticed about the election yesterday that in my own polling unit at Itire Road.
Okay.
The logo of Labour Party will have to hold INEC responsible for that.
Yeah.
Joyce, if you voted yesterday, you could agree with me. APC logo was written the way you will see it. PDP logo was written the way, even you don't need a 2-year boy or a girl to tell you that this is PDP, this is APC. But Labour Party, you could not even see Labour, talk less of LP. Only what you see there is forward ever. But other parties, their name were written.
Yeah.
It's only the Labour Party. So Labour Party should hold INEC responsible. And if you listen to Jimmy this morning, you will discover that a woman voted a mistake and when they are crying. And it happened to me yesterday. I got to carry the paper, go to the INEC official. Where is Labour Party in these logos? Is the 1.1 that I saw a man with a cap and a child. And I just voted there. So Labour Party should hold INEC responsible. If any result could not favor Labour Party, they should hold INEC responsible. And another one happened in Oshodi. Those polling units that you see, if they born Igbo people well, let them come and vote here. If they are not voting APC, is that a language of one Nigeria? I am still asking because if you listen to my speech in Lagos station, I normally engage the system of government of this country to the all core. Even my spirit hated the system of the government of this country. You look at it, it happened in Agor 2019. You saw Biora somebody when they went and hijacked Baron Pepper in Agor where the Igbos dominate.
Yeah.
I know show the there. They say if them born Igbo people well, let them come and vote here. Everybody saw it. It's not hidden. What I want to say, INEC should take record all those polling units that are being affected.
Okay.
Let them not do it hurry. Let them not do it hurry. If you told them the other week, upper week, let them provide those soldiers that we are seeing in Lagos State all over the place that they are putting their poll to poll in the east to go and monitor that election.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling. And you actually raised a very valid point. It's something that the attention of INEC needs to be drawn to. That some people, and this is not an INEC problem, this is a Nigerian people problem. So these are Nigerians amongst Nigerians who pretty much arose to instigate ethnic adversarial comments, and these are people who want to incite the public against a party in favor of another party. And we know that, and I'm glad that you also spoke in a manner that doesn't necessarily suggest that you are yourself biased between or along ethnic lines. Some people are that way, and maybe it is their own poverty that has obstructed their reasoning. And so you must, when you at least interact with those kinds of people, you have to understand who you're dealing with and not necessarily react to everything that you hear. But for sure, INEC needs to figure out those areas and then do something about those ends of towns where people would need to be given the opportunity to vote again. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Joy.
Morning to you. I'm not alone in the studio. Marianne.
Yeah. Can I remain anonymous?
Oh, no, you have just for me. Sure.
Hello?
I'm with you.
Right.
Sure.
All right, Joy.
I just heard what Dama just said now.
Okay.
In respect of the name of the election, like PDP, APC,
parties.
Labour Party.
Uh-huh.
Labour Party was nowhere to be found. The name was not written.
Yeah, in some areas we heard that report as well. That report.
I was yes, I'm just coming. I was even asking the INEC official, the agent, that is, where is the Labour Party? He said, no, the concern I should go to my place. Okay, let's keep that aside. In my polling unit, where I vote, so what happened there is that after they were counting the number, they were counting the total number of the vote. Yeah, when the APC now discovered that the Labour Party is ahead of them, they came and destroyed the area, destroyed the voting ballot paper, destroy everything, scatter it. Could you believe nothing happened?
Well,
they call it unavoid. They destroyed something. What is the duty of the police that they send aside?
Let me even ask you: did you have police officers on ground?
Yeah, they called the police in, and the police came after they have destroyed the place. They could not look for the person, the APC member that do that thing. They could not look for it. They just come there, parade, and went away. That they should loot the paper, the ballot, and everything there. That's how they let that place steady.
Once again, the INEC staff, are you aware? So that's the thing, like I told you earlier on during my hour, that the INEC staff supposed to report that situation to their line of authority, because that's the only way the attention of INEC can be drawn to that situation for INEC to be able to do something about it.
Yeah.
So there's really nothing I can do from here except tell you that I'm grateful that you called in to make this public, one, but two, the INEC official has to report quickly and directly to INEC, because that's the only way INEC authority can reassign agents and military personnel to that site again so that people will have the opportunity to vote. So I hear that some people have the number of INEC personnel assigned to their ward or to their polling unit. That's a good way to find out, to say, have you reported the situation? We're following you for updates. It's one way to do it. Now, remember, INEC would be resuming officially today at 12, meaning that the official proceedings for today's furtherance of the Nigerian elections begins at 12.
Yeah.
Between now and then, I want to believe that INEC would receive all these information. All of this would have reached INEC. And so you want to be on Nigeria Info, because when we get a report or feedback from INEC, we'll be given to you what comes from INEC directly. And so you would know with that whether your polling units would have to be voting again, whether there's a rescheduling for you, an opportunity to vote, and of course, Miriam, go ahead.
Yeah. So we want to make sure that we're also not giving you any information that's not right or correct in any way. So we're going to wait. INEC is briefing the whole country at noon today. Professor Mahmoud Yakubu will be there, flanked by his other generals. And I'm sure, because half of the complaints we had yesterday, we got from people right here on air. We were able to, I'm sure people were able to push those complaints to INEC, because I heard Professor Mahmoud Yakubu address some of those concerns yesterday, and I'm hoping that some of them will also, the ones we're having today, and a few spillovers from yesterday will also be addressed during that press briefing. So we will be keeping our eyes at the National Coalition Center to get more and more information from INEC. But in the meantime, we're talking about all of the things that transpired yesterday. I've held Joy down. She's going to be here for a bit. But then, of course, at 10:30, 10:45, we'll have a couple of guests who will be joining us to analyze with data some of the things that happened yesterday. So, Joyce, let's talk about something that really stuck out like a sore thumb yesterday. The issue of underage voting. I did not think it would raise its ugly head again, but here we are. Did you see the video of that little boy who was asked what he was doing at the polling unit, and then he said he came to vote, and they asked for his PVC and he presented it? And we saw a lot more kids on that line.
I was
You're not sure.
So first of all, Nigerians, I hope that you voted a leader who can guarantee you education. Here's what I think. I think your leaders, well, some of your leaders would like to believe that you're not educated. And as such, they don't necessarily fight for your right to education.
Mm-hmm.
I say that to say, there's a video for military personnel who was on television. And he was asked about underage voting.
No, it wasn't military. It was the it was the police chief. In
Oh, the
Kano.
police chief?
That's the police chief in Kano.
Thank you very much.
And his response was,
I think I was
Epic.
I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. I could not believe
"Oh my goodness!"
that he said that on television.
National
I was
television.
embarrassed.
for something that the whole world is watching.
I was embarrassed that he had that uniform on and he said that. I was embarrassed that he said this for all Nigerians to hear. I was embarrassed that we want to present ourselves as a rising nation, as a nation with not just potential, but for the capacity, or with the capacity, to be at par with the best in the world. I could not believe he said that to people whom he wanted to believe him.
I'm sorry, I was not surprised.
Oh, I was.
No, I wasn't.
Oh no, God, I was.
No, I wasn't. And I like the fact that you want to believe the best of people. Unfortunately, this is what we've had to deal with. I think the only thing that I would, try to, compare to surprise is that I was just a little shocked that he would have the effrontery to say it on TV without it, flinching, because he outrightly said children can vote because INEC gave them cards. It's like saying children can go around shooting at people because someone gave them guns.
You know what? I'm not even thinking that far. I'm thinking if you are a statesperson, if you're a police chief, and my guess is you know what how a country should function. You are full aware of how the proceedings of INEC should operate. Should operate.
Do you think he does?
Good.
Do you think that everybody who wears a uniform understands what is in the Constitution?
You will not believe why I am shocked. Because now I think it's more like a case of, sir, I think you would need to be re-educated at this point.
Yeah, well, I think so too.
Because how do you say that the reason that they might look small, but they have stunted
No, he said he couldn't. You
That's
cannot.
what he
He said he can't tell who a child is by merely looking at them.
He says, yeah,
Are you sure, sir? Because this looks like a toddler.
He says because
This is a toddler.
he says, you can't tell because they have stunted growth.
No, look, he said that he could not do anything to stop the children from voting because INEC gave them cards. He could not do anything about it.
So
They're a law enforcement officer who does not know the law.
There's an ethical problem here, and then there is a moral problem here. We have problems here. We have economic problem, we have financial problem, we have state issues, we have problems, and then there is the problem of human conscience.
Yeah.
We have a problem with the conscience of people. And this is the thing. I think you have to understand how very unaware he must be to have said that publicly. There's some things you say in private and you can't say in public.
Yep.
Because this would be embarrassing if another ear heard it. Well, that would also mean that you have evaluated the facts within yourself and you realize, well, no, I shouldn't say this. But if he was asked that question and that was his answer, it's being vacant. It's like being a vacant human being. To suppose that the Nigerian state would tolerate children voting,
I think
when you should know that children should not be voting.
I think it's a very nonchalant attitude that he displayed in uniform, and I think it should be addressed. He should not hold the position of a police chief anywhere, let alone in Kano State. But unfortunately, this is the Nigeria that we live in.
No, this is not the Nigeria that we live in.
But
I hope that's not the Nigeria.
In what sane country? I mean, I'm talking about even war-torn countries. Would a police chief come out and say children are allowed to vote because they have cards? When we know it's breaking the law. We have to go for a break. Guys. We'll be right back.
For every minute that goes by,
something noteworthy is happening.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu gave his assurance after President Muhammadu Buhari unveiled the Lekki Deep Seaport.
It is only in Nigeria here that you only politicians that does not go for medical.
for the woman on the 5th as well.
Adron Homes, making the incredible affordable.
Me, I'm not afraid of that man.
Me too.
What can he really do?
I hope you people are discussing about paying me my rent.
Oga landlord, calm down. We are discussing about the upcoming elections.
Nonsense. Don't tell me to calm down. Your mates are at the Akamata Community Square selling their votes for 5,000 naira. But you are here doing what I don't know.
Oga landlord, do you know that 5,000 naira spread over the next 4 years is just 4 naira per day? Is this what we should sell our votes for? God forbid.
Oga landlord, wise up. We must vote in the right people this time, instead of selling our votes to people who have nothing good to offer our community.
That one is your business. You ladies better go and collect yours, if that will help you gather my rent at the end of the month. Do not listen to people like this landlord. Election is not a business venture. It is your civic duty to your country to help elect the right leaders who will create a better life for you and a great future for your children. Do not sell your future. Do not sell your vote. This message is brought to you by the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the MacArthur Foundation.
The race is on, and Nigerians will decide. People's voice and verdict.
They are not going to the ward. Nobody is collecting from any ward. I have been in a polling unit where the INEC officials, the party agents, and the voters are all complicit.
Citizens and their mandate.
People don't really know. Nigerians don't really know what governance is.
They have described the process. It's really very seamless. I would want to believe that everyone will take advantage of this opportunity.
Nigeria Info Election Day Studios presents The Mandate 23. Minute-by-minute election day coverage, 36 states and the FCT. Sheriff Quadri, Jimmy Disu, Ireti Bakare, Marian Okon, Joyce Oyemua, Sandra Ezekwesili, and Ufoma Egbamno with data analysis in real time. Date, Saturday, February 25th and Sunday, February 26th. Join the conversation live from 5 a.m. The Mandate 23. It's a marathon. We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back to the studios. It's the Mandate 23 live.
Still the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station, 99.3 Nigeria Info. I love election days because you know what? It's an opportunity for us to reappraise ourselves as a country. And I'm not just talking about how the electoral process is, I mean to reappraise every segment of our society. I started off yesterday by saying that the whole world is watching. I mean literally watching. As of yesterday, every TV station I was looking at on the screen, whether it be international or national, they were talking about Nigeria. I mean, I'm talking about even as far as Germany, the whole world was watching. And the truth is, Nigeria's elections, however whichever way it swings, is something that the whole continent, countries around the continent would want to key into. And I always like to make mention of the Kenyan example. Kenya used to be a country where the elections were seriously marred by, all kinds of violence because, they cut across, ethnic lines, and those divisions are very obvious. And so when a presidential candidate comes out, they always are from this community and that community. So it's them versus us. But for once, in 2022, Kenya decided that, the ambition of one person is not as big as the unity of our nation. Kenya might be a very small country compared to Nigeria, but they took a decision. And for the first time, Kenyans went to the polls, voted for their candidate, and the person who emerged at the end of the day was who the people decided that they would stand by, whether it was who they voted for or not, and they made sure that there was no bloodshed. Why can't the most populous nation on the continent not want to do so?
I think Nigerians are actually trying. I mean, this is the first. Well, I don't know if this is the first time, but I can say this is the first time I'm seeing Nigerians come together.
Yeah.
Tribe and tongue unify for a singular objective.
Yeah.
And I think every Nigerian wants a peaceful election.
Absolutely.
And as I said earlier on, I think it's just those little elements, just little chaotic elements here and there. It's hard. It's not a party thing. It's a few people thing. And I said it earlier on that these are people whose poverty has also obstructed their reasoning. No, but that's the truth. Because why are you fighting? Why are you snatching ballot boxes? Why are you
2023?
Why are you doing that? Don't you want a good Nigeria? And so in the absence of proper education, it would be that one has thought, well, I want to favor this person and this is what I can do to favor them. Or maybe they've even been promised money, given something in exchange for cause violence.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Joyce. I don't think that it has anything to do with proper education. I mean, I'm talking about formal education because you see, sometimes it has to do with where are you coming from? Where's home? What was your background? What environment did you grow up in? Because if you did not grow up in an environment where they're saying go for everything, people expect every single day. We don't wait election season to start to say, oh, we want to re-engineer mindsets. We want you to look at things this way. It's too late, sir. It's too late, madam. We have to have these conversations every day. Anyway, Honora Animobodo is in the studio with us this morning. Honora was in the field yesterday. He's almost lost his voice, but we had to drag him into the studio. Honora, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning to you.
I want to say nicely, with due respect, that your eyes saw shaggy yesterday.
Even the area that I covered, because of the fear, I said, no, I need to go there. Ordinarily, I'm not supposed to be in the field because I think I've seen it all in this election matter. I've covered several elections in Nigeria, so I ought to be at the background. But when I heard about that area, I said, okay, fine. It's better I go there. Because we've come a time in Nigeria where people will say, I die for a cause I believe in. The fear, they will kill you, they will do this. An average Nigeria is growing beyond that point. Some people sacrifice for us to be here. Some people gave their life for the independence. So if you give your own because you are doing the right cause, I don't think you died a coward, you died a hero. But nobody wants to die. Or somebody must die. But the issue is that I went there, but I didn't see those crises. So it's a thing of the mindset, like you just said. The narrative has been, yes, it is crisis-prone area. They fight, but on getting there, for the first time, I became happy. I told myself, I am happy being a Nigerian. I saw us organize ourselves.
Yeah.
I saw Nigerians ready for a change.
I think a caller called last night onto Uncle Jimmy and Sheriff and Ufoma saying that their estate had preempted that there might be some level of disturbance. So what did they do? They made sure it was gated enough that if you must vote, you just walk from where you are and come on, but the gates are locked. So an outsider can't come in except you're an INEC official. And that there was like that vetting process. So everything went peaceful.
Precautionary.
Exactly. So you see, they were thinking estate or an area. They thought about it that, okay, let's get ahead of these guys. Let's, get in front of this so that whatever happens, we're prepared. And they said they necessarily didn't have security operatives, but they made sure.
I must commend the security of whoever it is that mapped out the operational order for the area I covered. The person.
Where did you cover?
Where did you cover exactly?
First Star, Okota, Ojo.
And Isolo is a very, very, it has always been a hotbed. Yes.
I commend whoever actually did draw that operational order for security. In that, thank God I happened to be part of an area I know very. So when I saw the setting, the sighting, the strategic positioning, and those are the polling booths. We are not armed, but if you go out, you see the show
Armed
of
men?
force.
Oh, really?
They show that we are ready, and they are combat ready. And I equally want to commend the guys there. I am not actually holding brief, but at times we need to pat them. We need to go.
No,
See,
I
the
think we
issue
have
now
to
is
really.
not about voting. The process is quite commendable, but INEC need to answer Nigerians.
Yes, they do. I think we're all in agreement.
Oh, absolutely.
Lots of questions.
Absolutely.
Very few things have been said so far. INEC seems to be trying to be diplomatic. No. Please answer us. We need, because I don't understand how I'm unable to get my PVC, but then it ends up in the hands of certain party officials. Is this a joke?
Exactly.
Are we serious?
Exactly. I also didn't get my PVC, and I would have loved to vote this time around, given that I thought that this was probably my first time experiencing an actual political conviction. I've never had a political conviction. This was the first time I thought I came close to a conviction, something worth putting my fingerprint on for the next 4 years. And I didn't have that. Now, I don't blame INEC too much for that, but what I think I blame INEC for would be these reportings of not being able. I find that particularly surprising. Why people are not able to upload confirmed voter figures to the server. Like,
they didn't
how
give
did
them code.
INEC let that slack?
They didn't give them code. No code.
I think it might be
No
I
internet.
might be wrong,
Yeah.
but I doubt if I'm wrong. It might be a deliberate act, because in an attempt for you not to upload it, you will cause crisis. People will not say you must. They will not beat up the INEC official. Then they will not cancel that result. It might be deliberate. So here or there, it was actually scripted. But unfortunately, the guys there were oddly. I saw the youth giving numbers before even INEC came.
Oh, I saw
them.
Oh, I saw that.
Most places, that's what they
elderly.
did. Yes.
They will not say elderly people should be here.
Yeah, they prioritize those living with disabilities too. Yes.
The youth
yes.
will vote 7 or 5, then the elderly people will vote 3. They were oddly in all the places I visited. And the counting came in a situation. Everybody brought out his phone and started recording. So you can't tell me why you should not upload it.
Yeah.
Why even the Beavers is authenticating every card. We will say it is reader and a card reader failed. Nothing failed. Because when I covered the former president in Otueke, it happened 2 or 3 times. It failed. He went back with the wife patient.
But that's what happened to Governor Wike yesterday.
But this time around, the margin is something
pretty slim.
And even where they brought a wrong beavers to a polling unit, they took it back, brought another one, took it back in 044, PU 044 in first actor. And 45, the two. They took it and brought it back until they waited. I saw Nigerians actually saying, we need this to happen.
Yeah.
So but I don't have to intervene because I know where my role starts and where it ends.
Exactly.
So
you just tell the stories as it is.
Way it is.
Yes.
When it got to the point that they should upload it and you are insisting, we are told not to. The question is who did?
Who told you? Who gave the order?
I'm emphatically saying that the person that gave the order needs to be investigated. If it's not investigated, the person that actually in charge of the line of command should come and explain to Nigerians. The heads must roll. Somebody must answer this thing.
Absolutely. We're on your side. We're on your side on this.
Yeah. There's no reason why it should be otherwise.
Yeah. Well, guys.
Fortunately enough, I actually had a background of gambling, lotto.
We're admitting on national radio. Oh, wow.
It's okay. It's for a good cause. It's a learning moment.
It's something that is legitimate.
Yeah.
Lagos State Lottery Board is there. Lottery Board, which Larry Bajabiamila is even is there. So it's a legitimate thing. I happen to be a compliance officer of that. So I know what's called real time.
Real time, yes. Real time.
In gaming, if you say
so if we can accomplish that with lottery,
why can't we accomplish real time?
Why is it such rocket science? Yes.
So why can't we? That's why I'm angry about the whole thing. I saw that kept last night.
I told you that this information was necessary. Thank you for admitting on radio.
I was playing it cool.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it on national radio. I happen to be the media and the compliance officer of a national lottery, licensed lottery. So I know what it means to have a back
Real
and
time.
back end access to a server
Huh.
and what real time is.
Okay.
Somebody should not be playing on intelligence. Somebody should not.
Talking about real time and data analysis and data management, I'm being joined by Nike. Nike, it's so good to have you join us. I see that you're enjoying our conversation and you're just like, oh, yes, you're nodding.
Yes, I really am.
Adenike Aloba. Adenike Aloba is of Data Fight, and Data Fight is a data analysis and information, group which Nike heads. Nike, I quickly want to start because we have been analyzing. Joyce Oyemowa is here in the studio with me, and we are looking at all of the things that have happened so far since yesterday, and the fact that there are certain polling units that have said that they have not been ordered to, upload results. They've also said that, they don't have the code to upload. Some of them are saying, oh, there's no internet. But did INEC not assure us that we didn't necessarily need internet, especially for the beavers? There are lots of things that don't make sense as at today. Help us make sense of it if you can.
Okay, I mean, I wish I could speak for INEC and say that we have a sense of why some of the things that shouldn't be going wrong are going wrong, but I can't speak for them. But the one thing that is clear, I mean, I just saw a friend put in a status that anything but outright condemnation of all of the mess ups that we're seeing is just not serving the Nigerian people. I think it's only fair that after we have touted this election as, yes, technology driven, technology is going to change things. First, it's that beavers were malfunctioning. Then they didn't have chargers. Then they didn't want to plug to generators. And then it was that they didn't have internet. And then, look, I have been, frankly speaking, I don't know what I look like on this video right now, but I've been up for about 24 hours.
Yeah,
with about 2 hours.
Don't worry, we've all not had enough sleep. Our faces are all swollen, but that's fine.
And I can tell you that it is, even where we have some of the results on IREV, it is just absurd to see some of the things that we're seeing on IREV. It is just absurd. And this is the joke I've been making with my team. This is a country where at every point in time we are snapping something. Like everybody's pulling out a camera phone and snapping something. How is it so? No matter how low resolution, because I have seen, some cases being made that, the things are set to take pictures in low resolution. But no matter how low the resolution is, I should still be able to see something. And even though, yes, we are seeing some results, I mean, I have scraped IREV for a couple of hours over the night. We have seen results that are clear, that are usable, but we've also seen results that there's just no excuse. There's just no excuse for why they look like that. I think INEC took us 4 years to get here. We were hyped about all this technology and what it was going to mean for elections. I think you should take all these criticisms, just say, thank you guys, we understand that what we're doing wrong. Because I don't know how they can explain this. I don't.
Talking about explaining this, I want to bring you up to speed. I'm sure you'd know because you're gathering a lot of data and intelligence on this election. Joyce and I were talking about the fact that INEC, when they were giving out PVCs, had told us that you cannot have third party come get your PVC, so you had to show up in person. And so people had come with their mats and their chairs and slept at the INEC office because they wanted to get their PVCs and ended up not getting it. But then we see bags and sacks in Lagos yesterday. We saw a big bag somewhere in Lagos with PVCs, filled with PVCs. Who is giving out these PVCs? How come it's happening right under the watch of INEC when thousands and thousands of people are being disenfranchised?
So, I mean, again, INEC has a lot of explaining to do. We knew that there was, it was going to be challenging seeing over 6 million uncollected PVCs. I mean, we knew that. But why are those PVCs, which are supposed to be highly protected, which are supposed to be it's like your ticket to the country, it's like your ticket to participation in democracy. Why are we seeing them in places that we shouldn't be seeing PVCs? It's understandable that you can make a case for it. We probably can't defend that everyone went to stay on the queue and they didn't get it. So they can make a case and say, well, some people never showed up. But even if they never showed up, you have a responsibility to protect these PVCs. You have a responsibility. I am really looking forward to some honest admittance of challenges from INEC. I'm hoping that we don't get whitewashed, and I'm hoping. I've already seen the community of the civic actor community coming out to say, hey guys, we ought to have done better than this. And I'm hoping that they themselves come to the table and say, you know what, we know we should have done better. Because it's
do we see that happen? Has there been a precedence? Has there been precedence where people admit to doing wrong in this country, especially INEC? I mean, in this case, because I'm waiting to hear the explanation from the professor as to how these bags of PVCs. I want to believe that there's a saboteur within INEC.
I perceive that, but even more interestingly, I have a fear, and my fear is that if INEC has to admit that there is something in the process that pretty much informed these errors or these loose ends, if INEC takes responsibility for that, then in my head I would say, well, you cancel the election, let's do it again.
Thank you, but will they want to take that risk?
That's the thing. That's my concern. That's my concern.
I mean, realistically,
it's costly.
Even for the country,
the weight is too much on INEC to shoulder. If they come out to say, well, we do apologize, we should have done better. That weight is a lot to bear. And the consequence of that statement, in my opinion, for a credible election is a re-election.
Yes.
That's what I think.
But then the question is,
let's honestly, just Data Fight has been partnering with Dean Initiative and a couple of our partners, CJD and other people, and a bunch of guys who have guys in the field. And there were hotspots where, frankly speaking, I don't know what y'all are doing in Lagos, but it feels like, there's some questions to be answered there. But to be fair, there are regions of the country where voting just happened. Yes. And there were no issues.
Like the FCT.
People stayed as at 12 a.m. in the morning, people were still voting, and it was happening. And so there are, the question of, possibly cancelling the entire thing. Yeah. So for instance, we were worried as at 9:30, 11:30 a.m. in the morning, no electoral officers were in Abia. We were worried, but they came and they stayed. So that even up until 11 p.m., 12, they were still voting in Abia. So, it feels like, they may not be able to say, we messed this up, let's cancel, the entire election. But
Adenike, I think that you have frozen. Your connection is gone. We're going to try to get you back. Hopefully somebody's not trying to call us to say, I can hear you on Nigerian Info. But Adenike is joining us live from the FCT. Just as she said, a lot of people voted seamlessly in the FCT. Seamlessly. I must say, I spoke to a lady at 10 p.m. yesterday who said, we just voted. We had to use the touches on our phones to help INEC officials to get the process, up and running. We were moved from our original polling unit to 3 different places. In fact, we went to a fuel station that said to us, at first they accepted, and then in a few minutes they said, no, you can't have your elections here. Let's go and look for another place. So, but then the people in that community said nothing's going to stop us from voting, and the lady said she ended up voting at about maybe 9:30 p.m. Wow. And then voting was still on. So it means that for some people, and she said there were many people at that polling unit.
Marianne, let me tell you, Nigerians came out to vote.
Yes, sir.
And they made up their mind that they must vote.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break. Yes. Okay. So we have Honora,
so
I'll just make
the issue of the process is not in doubt, and even the election itself held
in many places.
In many places,
yes,
that are observed. But the question is that at the end of this process, that is credible in my assessment, INEC boggled it.
INEC, you have a case to answer.
Uploading this thing would have given credibility to all these efforts.
Yeah, that's my biggest shock, really.
And that's where I personally faulted the whole thing.
That's exactly where I'm standing.
Yes, because you see, you can't go halfway and not want to go the long haul. Because you see, we have worried and queried, how astute you are as an umpire, and then all of a sudden you want to just chop up our hopes and pieces it. Now, wow, INEC.
But he's not going to admit. He's not going to say, "Well, this is a deliberate thing." He's going to say, "This is someone's fault," or "This is an error on our part." But he's trying to fix it.
He should actually take responsibility
right away.
Yes,
and say from now on, all results are going up now.
On his table.
Yeah, guys, we have to go. It's still the Mandate 2023. We're live in our studios.
More talk, news, and sports after this. Book a ride on Anaya to move around Lagos. From Lekki to Oshodi, from anywhere to everywhere. Try Anaya and you won't go back to your old ways of moving around Lagos. Hurry and download Anaya app today and get your first ride for free using the promo code First Ride. Anaya, ANAYER. The power to move.
I know say everybody getting time, I don't go lose faith. As I dey hustle every day, I know they look face.
Turn that fear into
but was stopped by Hamid Olarawaju. If he wants to settle that score, he'll need to emerge from this group. But will Stephanie Amber let him? The August runner-up is here to prove she could have won it all. But to be the girl, she has to beat the girl. Esther Bewaji's fans will love that Group D debates on Thursdays because they say Thursdays are for legends. She smashed scoring records on her cruise to the championship in May. And all that is left between her and the three other champions are the two challengers in this group. This March, it's the I Beg to Differ Tournament of Champions on 99.3 Nigeria Info FM and Wazobia Max TV.
The only detergent that keeps me bright and fresh. I know they waste time to wash. I thought my clothes have the best, so why go less? You can't wash a lot with a little Viva. Use Viva. Don't waste your time, don't waste your money. Use Viva. Viva, oh Viva. I love my Viva. Don't need no other. I love my Viva forever. Viva, oh Viva. I love my Viva. Don't need no other. I love my Viva forever. Viva, I love my Viva. Don't need no other. I love my Viva forever.
Viva Detergent, a quality cleaning powder from Aspira.
99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
This is the Monday 23. The Monday 23. Live.
Of day 5, and she's joining us live virtually from Abuja. Adenike, I'm sure you heard some of our conversations offline. We are not going to discuss that, but
we won't.
But I want us to address something else that we spoke about earlier. I do not know if you captured that in your data. For a lot of Nigerians, we were hoping that in 2023 we will not see a lot of children lining up to cast their votes on election day, being that INEC had said that this process of issuing out PVCs had one way or the other in their bid to clean up the voter register, they would have taken out
Updated with all the current news.
they would have taken out all of the underage voters, but then that's not the case. We saw a lot of children who were actually on that line. I'm sure you saw that video of the little kid who was asked what he came to do, and he pulled out his PVC that he came to vote, and we saw oh dear.
We had incidents updates, and we have one up on our social media where one of our field officers. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we had an incident. We did this incidents update thing, and on our Twitter, one of the field monitors walked up to this lady and said, "Hey, how old are you?" And she actually responded in Yoruba, "I'm 16." And he said, "Can I see your PVC?" And she had a full-on legit PVC that said she was 18. So again, wow. After all the posturing with, oh, it's biometric, we're making sure that's why you have to show up. That's why there were some processes that really could have made PVC collection, PVC movement and changing. There were things that could have made it easier. But we said, oh, well and good. You want us to show up. You want to see our face. We agree with you because we want a better Nigeria. Only for us to get to the polling booths and polling units and find, underage voting. Again, I just have some explaining to do. And you see, I'm not hoping that Nigerians say, oh, because of this, let's throw the entire election out. I'm hoping that we can hold them to account and say, INEC, A, B, C, and D did not work. From now, let's start, because hey, this is presidential, and as far as I'm concerned, presidential is all well and good, House of Rep is all well and good, governorship is coming. Governorship that is closer to the people, when a lot of people don't pay attention to, but a lot of havoc, a lot of the things that we are looking to national for are actually happening at the state level. And so we have about 2 weeks to clean some stuff up. We have about 2 weeks to make up not saying I have to. And so there are just a lot of things. How do we we know you can't necessarily clean up voter registers. One thing that was apparent, and I know I've heard a lot of people on social media as well as field monitors say, oh, like security agencies, and they didn't do much. But let's be honest, we do not have near enough police officers in Nigeria.
Oh, that's a whole different conversation.
You see a mob, or if you see a mob following children, and they're saying, because our field monitor said he actually had to pretend like he was one of them to get close to the girl, which means some people deliberately brought those people to the polling unit. Now, if you see a mob with cutlass and cudgels and stuff coming at you, and you are one police officer with one gun,
what can you possibly do?
I'm not excusing that. I'm not saying that the failure of security agencies is not apparent. I'm saying that let's not point fingers at individual police officers, because that's just one man in a polling unit that probably has 1,000 people located near maybe a popular market site where people are miling around. And so some of the things that should have checkmated, things like underage voting, where everybody's saying, hey, checking PVC and trying to confirm and doing both the kind of check that you're supposed to do with verification, but also sentiment, some sentiment. It's just one guy.
Okay.
In that polling unit.
Well, we're going to Nika, we're going to bring Lagosians in, because, of course, we're still trying to feel the pulse of Lagosians from what they experienced yesterday. And if you didn't vote in Lagos and you're listening to Nigeria Info now, you voted outside of Lagos, feel free to join the conversation. The phone lines are open, 0700 993 993 993. That's 0700 993 993 993. If you're a lady, call 01 465 7190. That's 01 465 7190. stereo, and just make sure that you don't make anything up, okay? Because we're trying as much as possible to get the right kind of information. We don't want any cock and bull stories on the show this morning. Okay, so let's go to the phone lines and take some of your thoughts, your comments, and don't forget you can be part of the conversation also on our Twitter handle. Use the hashtag Mandate2023 and join the conversation. Hello, good morning. What's up?
Good morning, Marianne and Joyce. My
Good morning.
On Nigeria Info.
Oh, good morning.
Kudos to you guys on the job you are doing for not resting so well last night. Okay, my name is Meg.
Hi, Meg.
I live in Lekki.
Okay.
And I did go out to vote yesterday, and in a village called Ibokusu, close to my estate.
Okay.
And we came out, everything seemed okay. My unit was PU11.
Okay.
The crowd there, we were not so many. So in an hour, 30 minutes, we were done with the beavers and the checking of the register if your name is there and voting. There was an 82-year-old woman who really wanted to vote, and her caregiver was practically carrying a chair behind her for her to sit. That was how old and tired her legs were. We gave her time to go ahead of us, and she voted, and we left. I left to go home, planning to come back at about 2:30 to safeguard our vote. Maybe at about then they would have counted and everything. All for me to get home, and I was told that thugs came to that polling unit and they scattered everything.
Wow.
Scattered everything. I still braced up courage. I drove from my house to the estate gate. I parked my car and I walked down to that just to confirm it was true. And it was indeed very true.
Wow.
Again, a lot of people have said, security men. The lock we had yesterday, there were 3 other units, 9 and 10, and the one at my estate gate proper. It was the military men that were headed towards Ikate, because I'm sure you guys heard what was happening at Ikate yesterday.
Yes.
How people were driven away to go and sit in their houses not to vote. So some military truck that was headed towards Ikate was the truck that some women ran onto the street and stopped. And they did stop, and they came into that Igbokusu village. And again, they were able to help safeguard the votes in polling unit 9 and 10 and those at my estate gate directly. So what I want to say is, the disappointment I'm feeling now is the fact that they can't upload the results. So even after the beavers, the cocoa of the matter is uploading the result.
Yes, absolutely.
That is the cocoa of the matter. So if I said now, they are struggling and they don't know what to do with the result, anything can happen. Like they say in my worry, anything fit happen.
Well, let's just hope. We're just going to hope that these results are uploaded on time or in time. Thank you very much, Meg. Thank you very much for being resilient also to make sure that you cast your vote.
Have a nice day.
You too. You too. We're still taking your thoughts. I almost said what's up, Lagos, because you know what. But this is the mandate. Hello, good morning. Oh dear, please call us back if that was you. Hello, good morning. What? Okay, I'm doing it again. This is not what's up,
Takes
Lagos.
a while.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Please turn off your radio. Walk away.
My name is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, good morning. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that the polling agents could not upload the results. All these things are orchestrated to make sure that they perfect their rigging plan.
Who's they?
Unfortunate, because Nigerians are watching. But if the polling agents and each of the party representatives actually got the signed results, this will be used. And definitely, any aggrieved party will head to court, because this is very, very laughable and it's very, very annoying. And again, I want to put it across to Nigerians that the beavers is even configured for what we've been seeing before, for electorate, that is the voters, to vote directly on the beaver. That is the way it was configured. But they did not allow it to happen so that they can give room to all this kind of nonsense, all this kind of fraud that they want to commit. The beavers is configured. All the political parties are in that beaver. All they need to do is just allow the voters to scroll down to the party you want to vote for and use his thumb to vote on the beaver. But they disallowed that. Now they are not allowing the INEC representative to upload results from the polling unit. So be that as it may, I am very sure the parties are not fools. They are representatives. That is the party representative. And then truth come out.
This is absolute nonsense.
All right, thank you. I can feel the passion in your voice. We'll try as much as possible to be calm about this because, we can't get too angry. But I think that I don't know if this is live because we're supposed to get a press briefing from the National Coalition Center. So I'm taking a look at the screen now. I don't know if what we're seeing is live, but if it is, we're going to confirm. And then maybe we will try to patch, the INEC... the INEC chairman in on our live feed so that we can listen. I don't think that this is live, but then okay. We'll just confirm and then see if we can actually patch them in because we want to hear. There's a lot, like we have all been saying all morning, there's a lot of questions that are begging for answers, and we'd like to hear from Professor Mahmoud Yakubu himself. But don't forget, we're still being joined by Adenike Aloba of Data Fight, and if you are watching us or you're listening to us from any other part of the country, or you are just listening, we want to hear from you. Go to our YouTube live feed. We're live on YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. We're live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info 99.3. Post your comments. We would like to read from you. We'd like to hear from you. What was the election or the electoral process like at your polling unit? And were you able to cast your vote? At what point were you able to cast your vote? And was there any disturbance, or was it just seamless? Because I would say mine was the most seamless. I mean, the most. I voted in less than 5 minutes from when I got to my polling unit. It's never happened to me my whole life of voting. Never. And for me, I mean, if I were not a journalist, I would have just said that, all these people that are telling us stories is cock and bull. But because I did not go to just my polling unit, I had visited several others. Yeah. I knew that it just, it was seamless where I was, but then other people didn't have the same experience, unfortunately.
It's interesting. Ahmed Lawan said it took him about a minute. I thought, wow, this is brilliant.
Yeah. For me, it was this fast.
So
I couldn't believe it.
It's so efficient that it seems as though the humans who are around, people, well, I don't think that this... Let me put it this way. I guess that there are some people who either unwittingly or wittingly might be working for or against INEC, and given that the Beavers is so effortless and seamless in its process, then maybe humans are deliberately trying to make Beavers difficult. That's what it looks like at this point. If, Ahmed Lawan is saying, well, it took me a minute to vote. You say it took you 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So meaning that the crowds we saw that pretty much had to wait for so long, if the Beavers was allowed to work, allowing it to work optimally, that is, then people would not have to wait so long.
It would have been a seamless process.
It would have really been an actually seamless process.
I'll tell you what, I had concerns because you see, my biometrics on the Beavers, I had no makeup on. I didn't have my glasses on. I didn't have my contact lens on. But then yesterday I had makeup on because I was going to go on TV, and I had my contact lenses on because I didn't want to wear my glasses, and I was so afraid that it might not recognize me because of my contact lens and the fact that I wore makeup. But guess what? It captured me in less than a few seconds.
Oh, there you go.
So you see, these things can actually work. So, like you said, somebody might just be deliberately trying to sabotage
just make
the process.
INEC work 4 times as hard, just making this difficult, and then frustrate Nigerians.
Yeah, there was a test run for Beavers about 2 weeks before elections. Sports places. It worked 98% of the time. But of course, at that point, nothing was at stake. So, but the test run for Beavers worked at 98%. So, I mean, we did an analysis earlier in the year where we're telling INEC, we need more Beavers machines because aside from the fact that there's going to be human error, we all know how machines can be. Maybe after the 100th person, Beavers is saying, you know what, they did not make me for this kind of stress. So we did say, INEC, at that time they said they were getting 200,000 Beavers machines, and we did simple mathematics. 3 minutes per person for accreditation in a 500 polling unit, in a 500 person polling unit, then people are not going to have enough time to be accredited and to vote. But we don't know. We hope they listen to us. But the point is, at the test run of Beavers before the elections, our partners doing initiative were partners with INEC. 98% functionality on Beavers. And our analysis of incidences yesterday, Beavers malfunction was one of the highest.
Wow.
At least real-time incidents, reporters from agents on the field, from monitors of the on the field.
Wow.
Beaver's malfunction was one of the highest incidences.
Then this is in contrast to what the chairman of the commission said. He was on television yesterday, and he recorded that Beavers has worked optimally. In fact, I thought that he actually scored himself and said, well, we're doing so good that there isn't any blame that would emerge from the use of Beavers. But now you are saying you did a field survey and it was a poor score.
Yeah.
Oh, so what is this?
I mean, it's only expected that they come on air, and these are the things we're saying. That we're hoping that we're people who don't tear you apart because you made errors. But I don't think it's fair to come out and say, oh no, Beavers was functioning optimally. I mean, we saw on social media, to the extent that some of those reports can be believed, we saw people putting up videos of bringing out their own power banks and bringing out their stuff.
Modem,
Yeah, people were even, giving their data. They were sharing data with INEC officials. They were willing to do anything. People went to buy ink.
So you can't.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can't come on air and say, "Oh no, we were 100%." I mean, it just doesn't add up, and it just doesn't add up. It doesn't.
Okay. Well, Adenike Alaba is joining us via Zoom. In a few minutes, we're going to get her on another, conversation with us. But in the meantime, let's go back to the phone lines and take your thoughts. You can send us messages on WhatsApp, on Twitter. We would like to hear from you. Back to the phone lines. Hello, good morning. Oh dear, sorry about that. Please call us again. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the mandate. Please turn off your radio. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. My name is Steven.
Cheryl, is it possible for you to speak up so we can hear you?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, I said my name is Steven. I'm coming from Lhasa.
Okay, Steven, go ahead. What was the process like where you voted?
Oh, okay. Actually, I was one of the people I worked at the polling unit.
Stephen, we're unable to make out anything that you're saying.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I said I was one of the presiding officer that worked yesterday. So I heard a caller saying that the beavers are malfunctioning. And okay, let me just give a report from where I worked for.
Can you give us the exact location you worked?
Okay, I work at Okota.
Okay.
I work at Okota. So here, our beavers work perfectly. But when we are about to upload the results, there's a lot of traffic. Well, according to the beavers, you can upload the results offline, and immediately the result has been transmitted. Nothing can happen to it. They can never edit it. That's one work of the beavers. So people calling and saying they are trying to manipulate it. Yes, the party agents have their copies, so they cannot change the result, because anybody trying to change the result that has been transmitted is trying to look for a trouble.
Yeah.
And trying to cause trouble in the nation. So anything that has been transmitted by the beavers, be it offline, online, are gone. They can never change it.
Okay.
Cannot be changed.
Okay, I really appreciate you for calling in. I know that this is you just wanting to defend what you did yesterday, because you just wanted to set the record straight. So you're saying that the beavers did not necessarily malfunction in Okota? No.
In my own ward.
In your own ward. Okay.
Yes, everything was perfect.
Okay.
Everything was perfect, and the election there was peaceful.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. We're being joined by Eugene Abels. Eugene, I'm sure, is joining us from Port Harcourt, River State. Eugene is of Extra Step Initiative. Adenike dropped off. I'm sure she will join us back. But Eugene, it's so good to have you join us. Eku election.
Happy.
In Nigeria we form greetings for everything. Happy election, happy Sunday, even when it's not happy.
You know, buy me dress for election.
I heard people were on a lighter note. I heard people were requesting for election hair. An election hair.
No way. Absolutely no.
No, I'm not joking.
Oh, that's
We're
great.
trending on social media. But anyway, Eugene Abel, so good to have you join us. Now, I'm sure that you either voted or you monitored the elections in River State. We saw so many videos emanating from Port Harcourt, from what's it called now, Obiakpo local government, Ogba, Egbema and Doni, and several other parts. Give us a peripheral knowledge of what happened in River State yesterday.
Everywhere basically it was deliberate. It was peaceful to a large extent. Every incident you saw was deliberate, meant to disrupt the system. I voted, my unit was for Ward 4 in OGRA, less than 500 meters from the government house.
Mm-hmm.
And in my ward, Ward 4, we have 6 units. INEC people came by 3 p.m.
Wow.
And when they came, 3 p.m., and when they came with just 1 unit. So I had to take over the process and insisted that they called the units to come. And so when they came, I insisted you must show me your result sheets, you must show me your beavers at 00. And we had to do that. So 3 units didn't have, 1 didn't have reps, 2 didn't have Senate result sheets, the original sheets. So I insisted that the polling officers and the party agents for that unit sign, do a written note which all parties will sign, take photograph of it and make up that this result sheet was missing. Then we went ahead to vote. Now, but what the politicians wanted to achieve had been done. My unit.
Oh, I think that we lost that connection with Eugene, but we're going to get Eugene Abels back on the line with us. Eugene Abels is joining us from Port Harcourt in River State, and he is of Extra Step Initiative. We also have been joined by Adenike Aloba. She is of Data Fight, and she was joining us live from Abuja. We're going to try to get all of them back online. But it's interesting. Joyce, I quickly interviewed one of the contestants in River State who was running for the House of Representatives. I'm not going to call the name of the party. And he said right in front of his eyes, the results were being written in favor of the government of the day. And then there was a deliberate exclusion of ballot papers for the House of Representatives in his 2 local governments.
I am beginning to expand my disbelief to accommodate the absolute unbelievable. So I said I was going to leave at 11. Guess what? I'm on Twitter and I'm seeing videos emerge out of Port Harcourt. I cannot wait for your guest to come back to tell us what really happened in Port Harcourt. Now, there's a trending hashtag and people are saying visa ban for Wike. So I don't know the details, but it does quite appear that something has happened in Port Harcourt and people are practically sending out videos and whatever the details are, people think, well, international bodies must do something to kind of stomp on Wike, to bite him in a way that the people can't. Now, this is probably a moving story, as you know, and chances are we would not have the information all at once, at least not now. Maybe tomorrow on the show I would have gathered some information,
more information,
and then we can talk about it. But I really cannot wait for your guest to come back, and first-hand account at this point would be what really happened in Port Harcourt. That's really I can't imagine what I'm looking at.
It's interesting. I wish that we could
one of the videos is showing a man in uniform. Now, chances are he is actually a personnel of the Federation, or he might be an imposter. We don't know, but the video is showing a man in uniform running away with ballot papers.
Yes. In fact, we saw the first video I saw yesterday of ballot box snatching. Was with the title that even security operatives were helping government officials to grab ballot boxes, and I thought to myself that this had to be made up. This could not possibly be real.
Honestly, I would say it really has to be like it's actually totally unbelievable. It's like why would? So that's the thing. Maybe I would eventually correct my information and then my disbelief will subside and then I can come back on radio and say, of course, relax, this is working out for your good. Or maybe I will just come here and leave my jaw on the floor. For
Wow.
all, yeah, because I cannot believe all the information coming out. But then again, I think it's also worth noting that in any system, there is that one person who would at least attempt to go against the system. It would be absolute privilege and a sheer work of miracle if everyone worked collectively for a singular objective. There's usually that one person. So I guess in this regard, INEC is not, out of that sort of equation. INEC is working. You can see that INEC is trying to not just inform the people and give them credible elections. They're showing up on television, giving
bringing us up
to speed.
Yes,
So my belief is that there are a few elements in between, the lining of the INEC structure, who's probably just trying to make INEC's work. Or it might not even be against INEC. It might just be a selfish pursuit. Maybe they've been given money, they've been told something, made a promise, and they're saying, well, I will just do this for selfish gain.
So I'm just, because I always want to ask myself why people would go to these lengths to try to scuttle a process that could possibly easily be free, fair, and credible. I mean, because you see, from where I come from, I'm a Calabar South girl. We say, keep election for ground, do them. You know what it means? That let it be free, fair, and credible. Who wins, whoever wins, wins. Let's see, let's test your, notoriety, during the elections. But unfortunately, that's not the case in Nigeria and in several parts of the country, because certain people probably, I'm thinking, do they maybe know that they're not as, I don't know, as on the ground as they thought, and that's why they only resort to this kinds of violence, because this is the only way they think they could
It's
win.
a tunnel vision. It's narrow. It's, look, there's bread for you. If you can go there and just scatter that place, when you come back, we'll give you bread. And he's hungry. And so it seems as though in that moment, feeding him is the highest miracle. You can. So I would say that's the answer if I were to ask myself that very same question. That's why I say the uneducation is the problem. Because if he knew that he could work to get bread, if he knew that he needed a solid environment that supports economic structures to get not just bread, but bread and butter, then I wouldn't risk my soul for a morsel of bread when I know that I can work, earn by bread, butter, and eggs.
I'll tell you what. I think it was Feta that was telling us on the show on Friday, if not on on Thursday, that she knows a lady. I'm guessing the person lives around her, who told her to her face that, I don't know about you, but I'm voting for rice and money. I don't know about you. And she was trying to educate her, but then at some point she realized that she was just pouring water on the back of a chicken, because that person has become so used to the fact that this is the only time I can get what I want to get. But you see, how long does that last for?
That's the problem. Like, what do you want to get? 5 kg rice and 1 liter oil, and that's like 3 months, really. Like, you'll be lucky if they gave you 5 kg, because it's not just you who's cheap.
Several other people. Well, we're being joined again by Adenike Aloba, who's of Data Fight, and Eugene Abels, who is of Extra Step Initiative. Now, Eugene, the reason why we were hoping you'd join us again is because we really want to get a clear picture of what's happened in Rivers. We've seen so many videos, and more are coming up. We saw security operatives, the people dressed in security operative uniforms, grabbing ballot boxes and making away with them. I mean, we know that Rivers can be a hotspot, but yesterday was a theater.
Yes, like I was saying that, for instance, in my unit, we were on that beavers was 342 people. But because of the delay and when they came, only 49 people voted.
Wow.
It's meaning that, because people were tired and had gone. So now, then, so the issues were all created deliberately. So the question is, who was responsible for it? For materials that had gotten to CFC, which is less than 1 kilometer from the venue, why did it come by 1 p.m.? If INEC is not complicit, then we should see people being arrested, officers of INEC who were supposed to handle these things, who ensured that result slips were missing. You showed us on television when these materials were delivered to INEC, when INEC delivered to Central Bank, when Central Bank moved, when they were moved to states. Those officers responsible must be made to pay a price if we are serious about this in this country. So bringing it to other parts of the states. Now, when there was about, in that polling unit, that ward, when there was about to be a little bit of crisis, obviously the police security men there didn't have an SOP. There was no procedure to intervene when there's about to be crisis other than talking to people. Number two, when some of the agents were saying that, look, the Electoral Act says that once there's no election, if there's no result sheet, that somebody was citing the Electoral Act. There was no clear procedure for communication between the ward and INEC.
Wow.
Maybe like a radio to say, look, there are result sheets missing here.
Yeah.
The SPO or whoever is immediately will interview and come and address.
But how's that even possible that there is no communication link?
And there was none because they're all looking confused. Nobody's. If I didn't take charge of that place, there would have been a riot there. And this is in the highbrow area of River State.
Wow.
So if this can happen close to, imagine what will happen in the riverine areas, which are like 2 hours by boat. So for us, going forward, between now and tomorrow, we should see begin to hand over their officers to the police. Anybody who administratively cannot explain, let's be serious. Let's play the game now. Yes, I can say, why did you come by 3 p.m.? Who was the officer in charge of the state? Arrest him and prosecute him. Who was those who are responsible to sort out these materials? The way you showed it to us, why sending it to CBI, means that it was packaged word by word. Is it that when you got to the local location, they started sorting, give one to A, give one to Marianne, give one? No, that shouldn't have been what happened. We need to know. People must. So let's see where the compromises occurred from and let people pay the price.
Eugene, I really want to live in that Nigeria where this can actually happen. But then you see, we
can compel it to happen.
Maybe that's why we're having this conversation.
We can compel it to happen. We have set up and all of us, me and you, we can go to court, sitting and other mandamus, asking INEC, compelling them, this man should be prosecuted. People should be held accountable. That public office comes with responsibilities. So you know that money you collected, we'll trace it now. We are not interested, but why didn't you do your job? Did you sign any document showing allegiance to the states?
These are very good questions that Eugene is asking, because we normally say, because I mean I'm sure that I'm a victim too, because I've already said that I would love to live in that Nigeria, and that's because we have our mindsets have been so raped that we don't see this happening. We don't see the possibility of anybody going forward with this and making sure that people are made to be really accountable to us, because you see, this is about us. This is about our Nigeria, and if you're seen or perceived to be trying to scuttle it, then you must be able to answer to
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
The interesting thing is that INEC is an institution of state. And so
but it is supposed to be an independent umpire.
Well, okay, so this is it. INEC is independent. And as far as this election goes, it is institutionalized. Now, the problem with what we are experiencing is that INEC should, as you have said, be held accountable, because that's the only way the people can begin to believe both in the process and in the state.
Yes.
Because every time the people have any misgiving about whether it's government or governance or policies or state management, it's usually because no one is held to accountable. Now, that Nigeria is possible. And as your guest has said, we can make it happen. Yeah, the people can do something about it if that's what they want. But then I think INEC should be should be the front the front runner of that.
So they should be championing it.
They should be the one in
let me jump in here. The 2022 Electoral Act has given INEC powers. You don't need to go to court again to vacate results. INEC has that power. For instance, INEC is playing. You saw what happened with CBN and the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court is ignoring them because they have once they declare this paper is no longer legal tender. You're wasting. You're not making noise. No other agency like deposit money receiving banks can receive that document. INEC is in that kind of position. People went to the Supreme Court to get court order who didn't participate in an election, and the Electoral Act now empowers you to monitor. You're no longer an observation at party primaries. You're a monitor. A monitor that gives rules.
Yeah.
Yes, and the SOPs on. Yeah. So if you do not react, why are you silent? What are you doing? Is it to wear better and come and address me? No, I'm not emotional about this election. I'm not emotional about it. I have my preferred candidate in secret, but I'm not emotional because the journey is a long journey. So for all these young people who have come, I tell them, elections in Nigeria are a marathon. There's not a sprint. This is now when the race begins. Yes. And the people you're playing with, the politicians, they will do everything necessary. So, yes, because because, for instance, that no governor can come and boast, I will deliver my state. No, you can't deliver anything with beavers. If you go by beavers, you can't deliver it. Yeah.
But Eugene, we had reports that beavers, at least 4 beavers in Lagos, were taken or grabbed by some hoodlums. I mean, I think we also got reports about other places, but the one I remember vividly is
now if they were grabbed, who is the security officers of that area? They should be held accountable why they allowed that thing to happen.
Some polling units didn't even have police officers. Some polling units had no security.
That's the thing. So I don't know.
Who is the DPO in that area? Who is the DSS person in that area? People should be held accountable. We can break it down. We have security in every area of Nigeria. 7 and 7 follow government. There are DSS officers everywhere. There are policemen, DPOs everywhere. Who was in charge of that area? INEC, you paid allowance. Where are those people?
So
I mean, to jump in.
Yeah. So for me, I think that perhaps the biggest drawback of the energy that I saw, with this election is the fact that there was not a lot of conversation around the institutions that make these things happen. There were a lot of political conversation. This is my candidate, this is my party, but we didn't have a lot of conversations around, okay, what is INEC supposed to do? Okay, what is the role of police? Okay, what is the role of officers? We didn't have enough, so that even though some of us, a few people are aware of what the Electoral Act says and what is allowed and stuff, there was not a lot of conversation around it. So it felt almost as if now, the honest truth is, because this is Nigeria, we're praying and hoping for a better Nigeria. But because this is Nigeria, the likelihood is that INEC is going to get away with this. But imagine if we have had the same energy that we had to get your PVC, go out and vote. If we had similar to who are the police officers that are in charge, we know this is the procedure. If we had the same energy for INEC, this is the SOP of INEC. This is the SOP of an electoral officer. This is the SOP of a collation officer. And this will be my appeal. Guys, it's way more than elections. We've got to continue mounting the pressure and build. It's democracy. It's not, elections is almost like a beginning point. The real goal is about democracy. And so we need to so when Eugene was talking about what the law says and how we can, challenge INEC to court on this, I'm like, these are the things. It's not enough just to know the person you want to vote for and the party you want to vote for. These are the things we should all know. All of our eyes should be on everything going on. And this will, what I'm hoping that we learn from this process is the continuity, the tenacity, the long suffering required to actually birth a better country.
You guys, I feel like we're being given re-education.
Well, I'm down for it.
Yeah,
I'm
because
down for it.
I think it's time for us to stop saying, it's Nigeria, they can get away with it. Yeah.
Mary, I remember the stop the suit thing now. You remember how they made you look as if we could do nothing? Yes, we took it on, and see, now we're in court with the federal government. It's a long journey.
Absolutely.
You don't look at it that it's Peter Obi or Tinubu. Look at it that it's a 100 trillion naira balance sheet they're looking at. That's what they're looking at. They're not seeing you.
It's a balance sheet.
Absolutely.
The balance sheet is over $2 billion, $20 billion economy. The $20 billion. So you hear stories of human sacrifice and all kinds of things for power. You hear people shooting, killing, throwing down all of that. They're looking at the balance sheet. They're not looking at you. So if you think that for you, if you're looking at it that social media thing, then you
lost the plot.
This is serious business.
Yes, absolutely.
This is serious business.
Let's bring our colleagues
in. It is not over. This is now when the journey begins. We need to begin in our time, we didn't have social media, like I tell the Gen Z of the electoral process. This is that is beyond. We had the encyclopedias. Now you have Google, you have the media. You could you can reach anybody. Begin to go do it. Just research a bit. Just read a bit. Post all the things you can post. Begin to ask questions.
I have
now,
a criticism for
the officials that know, the local people, the rack people, SPO, post their pictures. Make them popular. Yes.
Really?
Make them popular. The GPN, make them popular. Ask questions. What did you do? Where were you? Are you there? Who was posted there? Yes.
So this is my criticism for my constituency, really. This is my criticism for by my constituency, I mean civil society and media, is that we also kind of focus the attention on candidates and just manifesto and just all the political shenanigans. We also quite focused a bit of attention on that. I mean, I'm working on a research. I'm hoping that we can push, not for any reason, but to help us understand how much power we still have in setting agenda as the media and how we have to be careful and conscientious about the use of that power.
Yeah.
If we spend 20 hours talking to political candidates and getting APC, LP, and MPP to come and talk about what they want, then all people are going to think about is February 25.
Yes.
But if we are more holistic in coverage and conversation, then we are telling people expand your horizon. It's not just about February 25.
Okay, guys, let's go to the phone lines. We want to bring Lagosians into this conversation, and of course, people, you can join us on Skype. It's Nigeria Info on Skype. So if you're listening to us from outside the country and you are not able to be part of the elections, but you are following the stories, join the conversation. 0700 993 993 993. That's 0700 993 993 993. If you are a lady, join the conversation on 01 465 7190. We have just about 15 minutes before we wrap up the conversation. It's still Mandate 2023. I'm Mary Anacon. Joyce Onyemoa is here with me, flanking me in a very positive way. Hello, good morning. Please turn off your radio. Thank you very much.
Hello, so thank you. I'm glad that I got you.
Great. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
Lagos, Andrew's my name.
All right, Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, the last caller said that it was a PO in Okota and everything went well. True, I didn't hear anything about the post Okota yesterday. Now, he did not answer, you did not ask him one question I would have expected you to ask him.
Which was?
Now, those machines, the Beavers machine, some people are saying either voted and gone, the result did not go because he said once you tap in, the result said go. Even if it did not go, whether it declined, I don't know what he said in that place.
He said that once the result is gone, it's gone. You can't edit it. You can't call it back. That's what he said. And that you can't tamper with it the moment you send it.
Hold on. Some polling unit, it's not like ordinary phone, you send message or whatever. Some polling unit said, the man there said the thing did not go because of network, which this guy actually admitted that because of traffic. So those areas that he says it did not go, will not successful? Definitely, we will say that. Or is he going to say pending? But that is a question.
That's a question where the POs also have to, and INEC needs to answer.
Is it pending, not successful? What did we see there? That is, we will analyze that later.
Yes.
But my question is that, where is the presiding officer? Where is the beaver? And where is the polling agent people? Have they gone home, or are they still in the secretariat since yesterday? As I'm talking to you now, that is where I'm.
That's your area of concern. Okay.
Yes. Where are they now? Because you cannot carry government property and go home because the process has not been concluded.
Yeah.
And who are the people monitoring to see? Say, oh, look at my screen. Oh, he is successful. I transferred money to you. You didn't get the money. When I get the alert finally that I've been debited, I have to show you. Say, don't debit me.
Yeah,
do you understand?
I totally get you, Andrew, because there are people who followed. I mean, I saw pictures from River State where, Andrew, I'm just going to let you go so you can listen to me. I saw pictures and videos from River State where people followed INEC officials to the, coalition center. They did not want to hear that there was going to be any hanky-panky. And some of the party agents also were there on hand to make sure that those results were properly uploaded. So I understand when you say, are you sure that these people did not take government property home? They all were supposed to get to the coalition center in their different
They
states.
had a collection space where they must all assemble, get instructions and know directions. and from there they all disperse.
Yes,
So
yes.
of course they're not taking it.
They're
home.
not taking it
Of
home.
you, they wouldn't dare take it home. It's government property.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's sensitive.
Very.
So that's not something you put in your bag.
Because also you're opening yourself to criticism, and then people can say that, oh, you must have tampered with the results if you didn't take it straight.
Yeah, but again, he also has a very good question now here. The lady, your guest said that some people were voting up until 12.
Yes.
So did they sleep there or did they go somewhere? Now, if we're being honest, where did they go? Because if they had to spend the night somewhere.
No, I'm sure they all leave and go to see the coalition centers are open 24/7 and that's
okay, fantastic. Now
yes, they're open. They're open. So
if
they
they're
all
open
have
24,
to.
yeah, because I don't think that they can take it home.
No.
Even I wouldn't even have asked myself that question because I don't think you're allowed.
No. You have to take it straight back to the coalition center. But let's take a few more calls. Hello.
Hello. Good morning, Marian.
Good morning.
Good morning, Joyce.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, this is Friday from Iboleri.
Okay, Friday, go ahead.
Yeah, for this election, we say that Nigerians, we are 85% ready. But INEC is just 25% ready. Why do I say this, Joyce? You see, yesterday we got to our polling unit at 04. They will tell, because some of us transfer our voter card, they will tell us that we have to go to 01. We tell my great surprise, people say INEC staff. All these people, they are not INEC staff. They are borrowed staff of INEC.
Ad hoc. But then there's an electoral officer that oversees most of these people. So
yes,
you can't
all these people are.
But you can't put it past INEC.
Yes, Joyce, let us get one straight. INEC cannot have more than 50 confirmed staff in Nigeria. 50,000 confirmed staff. Go and check. I don't think INEC have up to 50,000 confirmed staff. But look at how many polling units we have. Almost 200,000.
Yeah, but for elections, usually it wouldn't be out of place if they had to recruit extra hands.
Yes, they always have ad hoc.
They always
staff.
have. Yes, but how many week training do they give to those people? And what type of people do they recruit?
Okay, hold on a second. We want to understand you. So, what exactly is your burden? Yeah. What are you concerned?
What I'm saying in essence is this: until we have confirmed INEC staff who are ready to work, who have been in the system for a long time. This thing will not work.
It will show
because
you that
by 2 weeks to election, 1 week to election, you go and borrow some people. Maybe those who are selling, who are fried pop at the roadside, who are just there to make up their money.
Okay, so the thing is, ad hoc staff is not something that's new to the electoral process
or any other broad-reaching process.
Yes,
for that matter.
I mean, I'm sure that even as big as the U.S. is, they still have ad hoc staff.
Of course, like
people volunteer to work on election day.
You have people who volunteer.
I mean, so it's not something that's not new. So whether we even have I think Eugene is trying to say something.
Yeah, it's not affordable to keep all those ad hoc staff and the permanent
on staff. Yeah, no.
4 years.
No,
it's not. But it could be done better.
Yeah, we could have done better.
Well, he's also assuming that. I mean, the caller is assuming that INEC staff who's been with INEC for a long time, blah, 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 all of this won't happen. With the people who have people who have been accused of corruption are not new to corruption.
And the ones who were docked, yes.
They've been in power for like a long
career
time.
civil servants and worked with INEC for several years. So, I mean, I don't think that's a prerequisite for being an upstanding citizen.
And I think I'd like to clear an impression with him. He has this impression that everybody in INEC is qualified to manage elections. No, some are for accounts, some are for security. So, not the department, so that area that concerns work.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand Nigerians' agitations, really. I understand the pain that can come with staying on the queue and stuff, but, there are certain things that we don't wish it to happen. Like, we can't say, oh, this is how it should happen in my head, or I think that this will make it better. I mean, it can be done better, but it's not possible for INEC to keep adult staff on for 4 years. That doesn't guarantee anything. I mean, either way, it doesn't guarantee much. But I can understand the frustration, though. I can.
Yeah, of course. It's making us think up a lot. We're thinking up a storm. What if? Hello, good morning. What's up? The mandate. I'm used to saying what's up, Lagos. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Good morning. I'm Dixon.
Dixon, is it possible for you to walk away from your radio or turn it off completely?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I want to ask a question. Yesterday, I was about to vote. I was giving ballot this thing, but I checked. APC was there, was writing. PDP was writing, but the Labour Party. I only saw Labour Party logo. Their name was not in the back. Sorry, can you explain to me?
Okay.
We're not INEC officials, but
That's
this is an
INEC
issue.
situation.
Yes,
and it has been ongoing. I think about a week before elections.
It was a case that was brought to light by certain people, and it was concerns. I mean, I think even the party had raised those concerns in a press briefing, asking INEC to explain. Now, in some places where the names were not on that ballot, they didn't have candidates in those areas.
Okay. Is that the assumption?
In some places, for a fact, they did not have candidates, so there was no need to include them on that ballot. But then there are places where the logo was there, but the name of the party was not on the ballot, and then it's raised
that's
a
a
lot
little
of questions.
confusing for someone who might not be quite familiar with the logo.
Yes, INEC is yet to address that issue.
INEC is yet to address that, people. So if you would give INEC at this point, I think INEC has the world to address. Like everyone is on pins.
I was talking to someone, and the person said there's going to be a lot of litigations because the ballot paper is supposed to be reprinted to reflect a party that's supposedly participating in that election, and if they're not, then it could also mean that at some point, if the litigation goes through, that election has to be reconducted because INEC should have done due diligence.
Well, that's one aspect of concern. And again, like I mentioned earlier on, when your friend, when the guest said, was it you who said INEC needed to take responsibility? It was her.
It was her.
It was her who said it. And that's the truth. There's a burden that comes with accepting this level of responsibility. The moment they accept it, in my opinion, I'm going to say you're going to have to redo it because it has to be fair game. It's either fair game or it's no game.
Exactly. So
how can you have a ballot paper without a barcode? How do you track it?
How do you track it?
In 2023, come on.
And you can confirm that there were ballot papers without a barcode?
Of course.
I didn't see any on it.
There was not even on the one that I voted on, so what barcode?
Okay, well, there you go. We are waiting for
what barcode? Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Nomeo, and I'm calling from Owe area.
All right, Nome, go ahead.
In my unit yesterday, the material came very late. That's Olowo Tedo, to be precise.
What time?
Material came around that to 2 or 1.
Okay.
So the voting did not commence on time. But when it commenced, the thing was going on smoothly.
Okay.
And we all voted, and it was counted in our presence.
Oh, good.
And was the result uploaded?
Pardon?
Was the result uploaded?
Did you even wait for it to be uploaded?
It be uploaded. Even I would have waited. I would have waited because I didn't know. So it's from the radio I'm now hearing that the result has not been uploaded. I say, we want a better Nigeria. Myself, I've never voted in my life, and I'm more than 50 years. I've never voted, but I voted yesterday.
Oh wow! Congratulations!
Because I want a better Nigeria, and the thing was counted in our presence.
Okay.
So we can get a representative to tell us what was counted and jubilee.
Okay.
Because we want a better Nigeria. So they cannot rig this election for us. So they cannot rig it to.
So you're warning them. They cannot rig it. But you see, she just talked about a lapse. For voters, a lot of us were more interested in voting. I'll tell you two things. I'll start with this. A lot more people were interested in voting. I put out a tweet earlier on yesterday to give the steps, and I said, don't just vote, watch it count, and make sure that you stay throughout the whole process. But you see, a lot of people are just excited to vote and then they leave. They're not making sure that result is uploaded.
Take the selfie. They don't know what from EC7 is from EC8.
Exactly.
Ensure that
And so we're quick to take a picture and say we voted, but did you watch the whole process complete?
A lot of people are talking about upload. If it was uploaded, if you did not sign in to get IREV, to access IREV, you won't know.
You won't even know. You won't
be able to access, because as of yesterday, you can no longer register afresh
to
access IREV.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you did not even know that you needed to register, if it was uploaded, there's no way for you to know.
Absolutely. It's incredible. But again, I want to point out something, Eugene, quickly, because I think we're almost out of time. In fact, our time is up. Eugene, finally, a lot more people were interested in just voting for the presidency. I saw that. Most of them were not even concerned or had no clue who was running for what office outside of the presidency. Conversation for just presidency as opposed to other offices, and we keep forgetting that the people who are going to the National Assembly, whether it's the upper chamber or the lower chamber, are the people who are going to make decisions that would affect you and I.
Exactly. And I feel like the reason why this even happens to begin with, one, is because of the theater that is actually in sync with our politics. There's a lot of theatrics, and usually when you see the kind of politics that we practice, there is a gulf between between leaders and the people.
Yes.
So even if this were not an election on a good day, many people don't know the council chairman. They don't know.
Oh no, but Josh, you saw what happened during the Lagos local government. I always say it. Nobody showed up. It was you could literally count the people who showed up for Lagos's local government elections. They don't even know who the councillorship candidate was. They didn't know who the local government chairman was. They couldn't be bothered.
So I spoke to a couple of social media buffs. I said, please, in your area, do a collage, particularly for your state, all those going for national and state assembly, according to party, so that people can know that this one's Sabi speak English, this one knows Sabi. I said the reason is that these are the people who are supposed to run oversight functions over the people. Yes. So, but thank God now, I did that. Even in my video, I spoke about it again. It's important. It's very, very important. Yes. And so that's why I'm saying that going forward, we must stop voting for logos of parties.
And now vote for people.
We must fight that next electoral act be amended that will have pictures of candidates. If we have to amend the constitution, we must do it, and we must make room for independent candidature. When that happens, all this rubbish we end. We want to see your photograph that you're educated and you can speak English and you're capable of holding that position.
We have to go, guys. Our time is literally up, but we want to say thank you. Eugene Abels is of the Extra Step Initiative. He joined us live from Port Harcourt in River State. Adenike Aloba is of Datafy. She joined us live from the FCT. Thank you so much, Adenike and Eugene. Very, very robust conversation. It doesn't stop here. We have to keep having these kinds of conversations because the average Nigerian needs to be armed with proper information as to know what to do before, not until we're getting close to election time.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Eugene. All right. Well, Joyce, I have had the pleasure of having this, whole conversation with you. But I like how our eyes have been open to a lot more crazy that happens in this country.
Well, I think I found Twitter particularly interesting, even while you were speaking, and I was looking at Twitter and I realized that's the interesting thing. You're here in Nigeria. Well, you're here in Victoria Island, and the world is about you and happening. And so you have social media to be grateful for when the news comes in. And so I think I have stayed back, one, to particularly figure out what exactly is happening. But I've also gotten another kind of insight from the guests who've been on the show. And I think fundamentally would be the voter education.
Yes.
I thought that there was voter education, but to the degree to which it is necessary for people to understand. So this is what I meant when I said theatrics. So our politics, we have a lot of cast members with drama. It's the guys who want to run for president, is the guys who are corrupt, is the guys who are going to court, is the guys who are trying to upseat someone else, is the House of Reps. There's just drama. There's too much.
It never stops.
And so usually you just settle for who's the guy running? What's his name? What party? Okay. And then you go, because the rest is just theater.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not even theater that's driven sometimes to a singular goal or objective.
No,
It's just
it's
good
just-
old things that keep
it's
you
empty-
busy. on
empty
a,
drama.
Exactly, things that keep you busy politically on a regular basis.
And it's sad. But I want to say thank you guys for everyone. I want to say thank you to Feta. Thank you to Onye. Onyechi, thank you so much for being here. You guys have been great. But we have to go. We have to go because Ireti Bakare Yusuf is up at midday, and hopefully she will be able to patch us into the National Coalition Center when Professor Mahmoud Yakubu decides to address us, and then of course maybe some of our questions will be answered. My name is Mary Anna Cone.
My name is Joyce. And you're more.
All right, have a lovely day, Nigeria.
Atiku Abubakar. What did you learn then that you will not repeat this time?
Yes, when is the president coming out to address us?
There's a few things. One, I have a burden and a passion for young people.
The fact that you have elected a man does not mean then you begin to order him around. The president will do whatever is good for the country at any given time.
Mr. Adeshino, isn't the president responsible to the people?
What should the next president do to root out stakeholders who are complicit?
You fire those that need to be fired get fired.
It's looking like a brand new Chelsea, attacking with so much fluidity. And what can you say about that, Martin? I know you follow Chelsea quite closely.
I live close to the Chelsea training ground. That's what you mean by that. I'm not.